Best piece of advice you've heard in real estate?
Best piece of advice I've heard in real estate is don't grow too fast. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew, and you got to let things happen organically. But obviously, you want to push the envelope. Just don't grow too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, worst piece of advice you've received?
Don't get your license. It's not worth it. Um, you don't need it. You could still transact deals without it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
If I listened, I'm basically screwed right now. So, I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So,
And one more additional question: is AI coming for the realtors?
uh, this is hard to really. Okay, um, for the lower end market,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm with you. I think the onesie twosie agent is going to struggle, and the top agents are going to thrive. I think they're going to
absolutely.
kill it. Yeah.
There is no free lunch, and honestly, with everything, like I've been doing this. We'll get into it, I guess, when you ask me more questions. But I haven't been doing this for decades, but I've seen a real, shift of, old brokers versus new brokers, and th- there's no free lunch. No.
Ethan Davidov is our guest today, and this is a really fun one for me. I am super excited to talk more with Ethan. He's born and raised in New York City. He's a Queens guy, and he's a Queens native, leading one of the city's most active and tight knit real estate teams. He's a Compass guy. He is over 100 transactions a year, which is amazing across residential and investment sales. Ethan is known for his transparency, market expertise, and high touch client service. He's a graduate of Baruch College, Zicklin School of Business, and he combines sharp analytics with genuine care to deliver results that exceed expectation. Rooted in his family's immigrant background, he brings cultural understanding and versatility to every deal. Outside of work, Ethan enjoys traveling, music, and spending time with his wife and son. And we just learned that Ethan lives a 5-minute walk from my brother-in-law in Forest Hills. This was beforehand. Ethan, welcome. Oh, by the way, before you say hi, follow Ethan on Instagram. Ethan is EITHANDAV. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. EITHANDAV on Instagram. Ethan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, DJ.
I'm so excited to talk to you. You remind me a lot of my brother-in-law, who I adore, who's like the greatest guy ever. He's also a real estate broker. He's on the commercial side, but he's a great guy. And so it's like kind of like I'm talking to my brother-in-law. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate reaching out to us, and I'm super excited to talk to you. So let's start at the beginning. So how did you get into real estate?
So I'm a COVID agent. I'm part of the trend that got their license during COVID, and but I was kind of at the end of the low rate environment, so to speak. So I didn't intend on being an agent. I got out of school with a finance degree, business administration, with the Baruch, and I had a lot of fun through college. I didn't get my internships in play, and I started an internship after college with a REIT,
Mm,
small development startup. They were awesome. They gave me so much firsthand experience on what it takes to redevelop, these walk-up buildings and give that middle market, that new market, a nice finished product, but also that old New York charm in a really convenient neighborhood at an affordable price. So it was a great experience. I came into there wanting to be an underwriter, right? They looked at me, had a few conversations with me. They're like, "Nah, you're gonna do calls." I'm like, "But
You're a sales
I have
guy.
a degree. I did my, I'm a finance guy." They're like, "No, you're a sales guy, dude." Like, and I ended up sourcing, a couple off market deals for them. Within 3 months, I had my first deal under contract with them, just without even being, you know, an agent, and it was a wonderful experience. From there, I realized I'm more people facing. Like I want to be with the residents. I want to be with people. Um, I loved working with investors. I still do. I still work with a good handful of investors. But as I was shadowing the residential rental side of their business, um, I said, this seems more of something I would like to do. And I got my license in the next couple of months, and I started with a rental firm, and the rest is history.
So you've been practicing for what, less than 5 years?
I'm in my fifth. Yeah.
And you're doing 100 deals a year. That's incredible. That is
Yeah.
truly, truly incredible. I have, I've talked to, well, we have almost 1,000 agents here at our own firm here in Chicago, and I've never seen anybody do that here. And I've also rarely seen that done at all the top producers I've talked to on this podcast. It's been done, but not very commonly. So hats off to you. So our
Thank
audience, I'm
you.
sure, is really interested in learning what you're doing and how you're doing it, and maybe some advice you might have. So let's. And you said your parents were immigrants. Where'd your parents come from?
They're from Uzbekistan, and my father he was born in Uzbekistan, and then he migrated to Israel, and we had it was a great childhood with I guess the melting pot of
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you have a favorite bagel place, by the way, in
Oh.
Forest Hills or or
Oh.
or where you are, or Regal Park?
Okay. All right. So I have a few. Okay, and so number one is Utopia Bagels.
Okay,
Uh, that's in Queens, and it's not Forest Hills, but it's got my heart. It's where I go before I take off, before I leave the city. It's either Utopia Bagels or I go to my favorite pizza shop, and with Austin Street Pizza is pretty fire actually. And then the other one is actually one that I just saw, and something that stuck with me about this bagel shop was the bagel was super clean. Like it was
mhm.
perfect, and the branding, like I just can't forget it. It was my first time there, and my cousin has actually he's like, oh, you never been there before? No, it's great, but it's expensive. I'm like, no, the branding is perfect. I'll always go back. Leon's Bagels,
Leon's. Okay, well, shout out.
awesome joint.
I
Yeah.
I we do not have good bagels here in Chicago, and I long for that. I do get to go. My brother-in-laws get to stay at his childhood condo from time to time in Forest Hills. So I will search out those places and try that, because there was a good bagel place and it's no longer there. That
No, I know what you're talking about on the Boulevard.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I forgot the name,
I
but it
don't
was it
remember.
was pretty good. It's a
It
great
was real
breakfast
good.
spot,
Yeah.
and it's right by the express bus into the
Yep.
city, so you're in Midtown in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
So anyways, you started a REIT, real estate investment trust. You decided to go into brokerage. You started in rentals, which of course is very common for real estate agents in New York. And that game has really flipped, right? In the last, I don't know, couple of years, I guess. The Fair Act, which most of our listeners won't be aware of unless you are an agent in New York. But basically, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be, is that and there's a few cities that that operated this way. Boston, I think, is kind of this way as well. Is that in some places the tenant actually pays the commission, which is a big ask for a tenant, especially the most expensive place to live in the country, being either San Francisco or New York. But I don't even think in San Francisco they pay the commission. But certainly in New York, that was the case in a lot of times. And so realtors really had an uphill battle. This was a big ask. You might be, somebody might be spending $7,000 a month, and then, oh, here's another $7,000, and then there's last month's rent and all of that. So it's certainly tricky. And then legislation changed to say, hey, we're gonna basically change that. Now landlord pays. So let me know. Am I right about that, or is it changed a bit?
has not changed. And I mean, it is what you make of it as a broker. At the end of the day, it's you're in a service industry, and that should come first, no matter what. Um, I think that to get, I mean, if you want my opinion, I don't know if you're asking me yet, but I just feel like there shouldn't have been involvement on on the fair market. So to label it the fair act, I feel isn't exactly
Right.
fair. But at the same time, it is incentivizing tenants to have more liquidity,
Sure.
and like clients to have more liquidity and not be forced to throw tens of thousands away on broker fees.
Right.
I get it, but at the end of the day, it's all supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
And especially in the markets that I'm focused in, and that we're really deep in, like West Village, Soho, these areas. They they're broker fee areas for a reason. The
Right.
demand is high.
Yeah.
How do like, but the tenant ended up paying for it at the end of the day. It didn't change anything.
Right. The tenant's still paying it just in a different way.
Yeah. And the landlord's making more because what am I going to do? Am I going to like charge my landlord, a high broker fee? No, I'm going to charge them a reasonable fee based on the amount of business that we do together. It's it's business, right? And would I charge a tenant a high fee if I? It's a service industry. Like if a high fee will cause someone to be completely distraught while they're extremely qualified, they appear to be a great tenant, like just everything adds up on paper. Would I want to stick a high fee to them? No, that's just not how I do
Sure.
business.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that sort of it sounds cool for the tenant, and then at the end of the day, they're paying it anyway. It's kind
Do you
of
want the numbers on my end?
oh, I'm
um
curious. Yeah, I'd love to know.
So we did our numbers year over year. We manage a very large portfolio on my team, and um, we brought up on average over 17%.
Wow.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen leading, Soho and West Village, like, but really like these markets, especially the no fee markets,
Hmm.
where we were no fee, regardless, right?
Wow.
Shot. Like it's weird, but uh, yeah, it obviously has a little bit to do with rent increases year over year, but mostly to do with baking in the broker fee now, and the entire market has been shaken by it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's one way or another you're paying for it.
Yeah, it's baked in, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably sounds cool politically, but maybe at the end of the day, people have to get paid. So let's talk about building your business. So you're a native, you're from there, and what when you think about earning business and obviously there's tens of thousands of realtors here in Chicago. We have 46,000. I'm sure New York has even more with all the boroughs, of course. um, I am curious, like what how do you go about sourcing business?
Well, I'm a young guy, and my team, we're around the same age. Some a little older, some a little younger. I manage a small team and mostly new agents. I have one senior agent, and the rest are like 2 year, 1 year agents. Um, we are very big on prospecting, just
Mm.
cold prospecting. We don't wait for business to come our way because I would not be able to sustain myself with that.
The phone
Um,
doesn't just ring magically.
no, unfortunately, it doesn't, and I had to learn that the hard way. But
Yeah.
it was, the majority of my business and my team's business is sourced from cold prospecting, and we run with the fact that we know this city,
Yeah.
like like I've never met you, but I know exactly where your brother-in-law lives and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like we know each other, but that you can only really get that from a native, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's the differentiating factor, and above all, you're gonna get a truly white glove service. The phone is always answered when we've established the relationship, but it's about you get the business, you follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, and then you continue to roll that snowball. Yeah.
The fortune is in the follow up, and as much as I wish it wasn't, and I wish I wish the fortune was in the
That's
first
the
call.
hardest part.
Yeah, it's the hardest part, and it's all, but in a weird way, it's also best that it's better that it's done that way because most people don't do the follow up. So it's like in a weird way, it's like that expression. It's not crowded along the extra mile. Like it just isn't. Yes, of course, there's competition. There always is, and good agents are going to always, be at your heels. But most agents aren't. Most agents aren't going to be at your heels, and so you guys are aggressive in a good way, and I mean that with no pejorative sense. Obviously, a very very positive sense. So when you say cold prospecting, tell us like what does that look like? What does that look like for your team?
Well, it looks like postcarding, emailing about neighborhood updates, and you know we do the phone calls and stuff
Yeah,
with clients that we've engaged with. Uh, I don't want to say cold calling or anything like that. I don't know like the how that works or
sure.
but we do a lot of cold prospecting,
Yeah.
and so the phone calls, the texts, the emails, no spam. I teach everyone. We go through a full course on my team. So in order to be a part of the program, you have to go through the course of learning how to prospect without just like you have to add value.
Yeah.
It's so and it's been paying off very well. I'm very happy about it. It's just it's the hardest thing to do. It's like getting to the gym, right?
Yes.
You really don't want to do it, but
No.
face it, like you have to. You have to do it or you're gonna get fat and ugly, you
I
know? That's
I
it.
every Monday I have a trainer, and so for 42 years I struggled to get to the gym, and I rarely did. And I was always, relatively fit, or not overweight, but I wasn't strong and I wasn't really in shape. I just didn't look overweight. And finally I was like 42 and I'm like I have to get in shape. So I said I'm going to have to get a trainer, and I do it 3 times a week, and on Mondays I do it at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is brutal because I don't, like you said, I don't want to do it. There's no part of me, I want to sit on the couch and do nothing all day and not even work. I don't even want to work. Like I just want, that's my, unfortunately, that is what my brain wants me to do, but I know that's not good for me. So I force myself to do it, and then I get all the benefits. But all you have to do is force yourself to do it, which is not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you're right. It's all the heavy lifting, pardon the pun, but it's the heavy lifting of prospecting, lead gen, following up. It's all the things that most people don't want to do.
Yeah. And the other part is that you should never be afraid, right? Because like there are so many reasons to be fearful of
Mm,
prospecting with someone who you've never met. You don't,
sure,
obviously, like it could be dangerous, but like downright dangerous,
sure,
right? But you're targeting your lead, you're targeting the deal, you're adding value. The worst that happens is they say no and you move the F on, right?
right,
And even then, like, can you continue to send market updates, neighborhood updates? Can I add value? That's literally the way that I've been able to get business is not what can I make from you?
right.
Can I sell your place? No, no. Can I add value? I don't give a crap if you want to sell today. I don't care if you want to sell tomorrow. I don't care if you want to rent. I just want to know, like, can I help you in any way?
Yeah.
And when you are ready, if you are ready, I would love to be the one you use.
Yeah, it's the old-fashioned way of sales, earning it. You earned
Earning
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
earned it by give, 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 and then hope that one day they go, "You're the guy." And they will, because people always want a competent service professional who's just a good, decent human being who gives, right? Like, I want my accountant to call me and go, "I have this idea for you to save on taxes," right? I want people to reach out to me proactively and say, I've got a solution, and when you find those people, whether it's a mechanic, whether it's a doctor, whoever, you latch onto those people because you're like, wow, that person's good. And I love that, it's taken me a long time to develop those people, and I'm always readjusting the list. But boy, realtor is no different. And I think, I just currently I'm selling my condo and buying another place and upgrading because I'm I'm, engaged and going through that process. And anyway,
Congrats.
oh, thank you. Thank you. It's very exciting. We actually just went and saw the colors change not too far from you. We went to Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont a
Oh
month ago
wow.
just to go, do that thing, and that's really fun. But and if anyone hasn't ever gone to see the colors change, most people probably haven't. Please go do that. It is so incredible, you won't believe it. But anyway, when I was going through this process, and I am going through this process right now, and I am I have a lot of friends, thankfully, in this industry who were very helpful to me, who were like, "Oh, you just have to do this, do this, do this, do this," and I was able to leverage those relationships to get things done in a way that was so helpful. I now have so much more respect, even though I'm in this industry, for really good agents. And really good agents who provide value are just like they don't get paid enough, I think, in some ways. Like even the agent on the other side of the transaction for the place I'm buying, he was so helpful to me. I could not believe it. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's called a cooperative commission. And he's a friend of mine. I mean, not a close friend, but he was like, oh, DJ, you just have to do this. And I said, oh, thank you. Like it was very honest. It was very open. And I am so honored to sort of be, and I realized like, oh, I couldn't do this. Like this isn't my skill set. I'm not a practicing agent, so it shouldn't be. But I have so much respect for people who do, and that's you and your team, and you guys have just really. You talk about adding value. You know, you guys have added so much value that you just taken a ton of business over the last several years when it's been pretty tricky to do that. And so I'm curious, what when you think about your clients and you're talking about adding value, you know, how do you think about staying in touch? Like obviously you say, hey, maybe they're not ready today, but what are you doing to stay in touch so that they don't forget about you?
Um, well, it depends. Every situation is different, right? Obviously, you get like the handwritten notes, you get the phone calls, the texts, but it's the holiday messages for me. They get the texts from me, the personal text. If I reached out to you, if we've spoken, if for any reason we've ever connected, if now's not the right time, whatever it is, I always just I continue to wish you happy holidays every single holiday, like major holiday. We start with Thanksgiving, we go through Christmas, we go through New Year's, we go through the Jewish holidays,
Mhm.
everything, and I I mean, like, my wife kinda hates me for it because like, every holiday, like, like, we're off, we're with my kid now, and, we're going to our families and stuff, but I'm like, "Babe, I need to be unbothered for, like, 2 hours," and, like, you'll just see a bunch of blues, just texts everywhere, and that's me personally sending you a message and, like, truly wanting to catch up. And yeah, I mean, I manage everything through a CRM. Compass has a really good, really like probably one of the best CRMs that I've ever used, and I'm able to manage just everything there. I treat that like basically my Bible.
Yeah.
It's like every day you go through that, and for your immediate, for your warm, you have to have a warm list, obviously, of the warm prospects. You got to stay on top of those. Those are more frequent, and then you have something that's a little colder, a little less warm, like kind of lukewarm, and you want to do those holiday, those monthly touch ups and all of that. But all in all, get to know your client, get to know your prospect. That's my number one thing, besides the sale, is I want to get to know you. I want to know who you are, what, gets you going, and just how could I add value? Bottom line. How could I make your day?
Yeah, I think you're right, and there's lots of ways to do that. Developing kind of like a level of intimacy where I'm going to be of value to you, but I also care about you, and I'm going to maybe you end up becoming friends with some of these people, of course, and it is a really fun way to get to know somebody, I think. And you certainly seem to have that energy. I bet you have a lot of clients that are friends now, and
Yeah.
must be a lot of fun to do that. Now I'm curious, what is a typical day? And again, I know realtor days are different every day. But what is a typical day if you were to structure your day and you had control over it and nothing came at you to change it, with family or whatever, or your business? What would your typical day look like?
Well, it's incredibly hard to have full control, but as a team lead, that's the ultimate goal. That's why you hire agents to manage your business, your inflow. Um, so I mean, I really try to stick through this. Uh, I guess regimen is like you wake up. I try to wake up around the 7 a.m. mark. You know, get my electrolytes in, get my caffeine running. If I'm not dropping off the kid in the morning to his daycare, I'm going straight to the gym. I got to get the blood flowing, get into my office by the 9 a.m. range. But my phone is not off, and from the moment I wake up, I have to take the phone calls. I have to keep moving. As soon as I get into my office, it's go through my to-do list. I print these. I keep these with me. I got a few to-do lists. Now I need a personal one, and I have the business one,
Yep.
and you have your warm leads. Like that's what I have to have in front of me, because the emails will bombard you, all these little distractions. So I just make sure my to-do list is going through. I uh I have a server with all the deal flow, with all my agents on it, and I make sure all of those messages are answered. Everyone that's supposed to be doing their job is doing their job. So that's early morning. As soon as we get into the office around nine to 10 a.m., we get that done. Into the afternoon, I have my lunch, and try to make that quick. And then it's like through there from the 11 a.m. mark, really, even before lunch, I would say, is when the phones really start going off. It's whether I'm putting out fires from a client who just moved into their apartment, or having to manage a landlord's expectations or a seller's expectations on when are we closing. Figuring out a board package situation, or what are we getting clear to close? Are we is our offer accepted? Are we under contract now? And then we go into managing my agents stuff. It's just a bunch of stuff. It's hard for me to even just structure it into a time frame, but it's just nonstop working until I am able to. I try to get out of the office, before sunset, so I could see my kid. But if I'm not doing that, then I'm either meeting a buyer, a seller, or I'm showing an apartment, because even though I'm leading my team, I still have to show, because I need my skin in the game. I need to know
Sure.
exactly like how the market is reacting in certain ways. So I try to keep my capacity like on the showing front to a minimal, because I'm managing so much back end. But you still have to be a face, and understand how the market is moving
Have you s-
100%.
have you started using AI at all with your processes?
Yeah. Yeah, if whoever says they're not using AI is, I mean, they're either lying, or they're just really like stubborn and afraid to, try something that will streamline you. I heard a few things though. I've been watching these things on YouTube where it's like, oh, if you use ChatGPT too much, you're gonna lower your amygdala and you're gonna kill your brain out in a couple of years. Long term
Yeah,
effects are
maybe.
killer. Um, you know what? I use it more to like I I use it to clean up my thoughts instead of generate them. How's that?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
So it's like my just even speaking with you right now, like I have so much coming out, right? And it's like, how do I manage everything that I want to say effectively? Um, and how do I do it, with maybe like 10 clients that need a response from me within the hour? Uh, and, and these are fires. Like, let's just say that they're not just inquiries on a listing. These are 10 fires that you need to put out. You need to just send over those bullet points to ChatGPT and get those emails drafted. Review the emails, remove those nuances that look like ChatGPT
Right.
wrote it.
Yeah.
Um, Here's a cleaned up response. Just remove that and send it over. Um, Effectively, like if you're able to set my rule of thumb is, if you're going to use ChatGPT, you better remember exactly what you're saying, right? Because you're going to get a call from your client, and they'll be like, oh, what about apartment 2B? I heard there's a leak there. Like, what's going on? Are we under contract yet? What are the deal points? What are we waiting on? Hold on, let me pull up the email. Like, what? Like, did you not? Like, you have to be attentive. Like, there's got to be zero lag time, and you have to know exactly what's coming out of what's coming from your name.
Right.
So, I mean, I try to really be very attentive to everything, as much as possible. So,
Yeah, I feel the same way. I try to talk to ChatGPT like an assistant and a helper, right? Like, so I think I was working on my business plan for recruiting agents yesterday, and and it's really good at things like that. Where I said, like, okay, help me. This is what I want to do. First of all, I asked it, do you think it's a good idea? I'm going to try this thing. And so I think it's really good to have those conversations with it, and it is fun. But you're right. You do have to remember sort of what you're using it for, and also not giving it too much power where it's creating content for you and you're not really in the driver's seat, and then that could be, like you said, it could be problematic, and it could be very tempting to just let it kind of write everything. And also, but it's also really fun to learn how to do the prompts correctly. And it's complicated. Like, if you really want to get a good result, you have to write a great prompt. So I've been having a lot of fun learning prompt engineering and learning how to, it's like almost like a 10-part process to write a good
hmm,
prompt, which slows down the process a bit, but it gets me a lot better results. So I'm glad that you're using that. And I will tell you, as somebody who has just gone through the listing and purchase of a property, I was really impressed by what it could do for me as a consumer, not acting as an agent, but having it act as an agent. It couldn't solve for experience. That was the one thing that we still need realtors for, no question. And thank God realtors are here, because it doesn't know how to do that, and hopefully it never will learn how to do that. But it knew how to do a lot. And and so I think agents who aren't using it are really missing an opportunity to, make their business run much smoother.
yeah, by far. I mean, I just don't see. I don't see a world where where this is not, helpful, towards agents. It has helped me tremendously with just I don't get stuck on emails anymore. I'm a very big perfectionist. I don't get stuck on thoughts and how to, and business plans especially. Like, that's beautiful. Like, I use that. Like, I'm able to drive and be extremely productive, and it's all recorded in my chat now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
able
cool
to
that we can
chat
just
with
talk to
my
it. Yeah.
like, because you could have your phone call with your assistant, you could have your phone call with your wife, with your family, whatever, but you're not recording the call. It's not transcripted. It's not, you'll remember some advice and it'll slip through. But ChatGPT and all of that, like, it could give you notifications to do something, like, which is crazy, you know?
Yeah,
So I like it.
what I'm waiting for, and this is coming, I'm sure, is the, "Hey, DJ," this is ChatGPT speaking to me, or AI speaking to me, saying, "Hey, here's all the tasks you have to do today. I created a schedule for you, like a really good assistant could do, and here's the order in which you're going to do them." If I could get that for
That's
me
beautiful.
personally, oh my gosh, I would pay a hefty sum for that particular
Well,
task.
you actually won't, because you got to make sure it's cheaper than an assistant.
That's true. That's a very good
Right?
point.
So, I get this pitch all the time of like, "Hey, we'll take over your email inbox for with AI." Like, there's a few companies that are really trying to do this with
Yeah.
high volume teams, and I'm not a big fan of it
No,
because
me neither.
it's autopilot. I'll get thousands of emails a week. Like, I'm not completely absorbed in it. I set, time blocks. It's another part I kind of should have said earlier. Time blocks are really important. If I'm, in a zone, I'll have a timer on, and I'll get something done within that time frame. I'm not going over 1 hour per, time block for my emails, let's say. But yeah, I'm going through those emails. I'm making sure that there's no red flags. I'm not missing anything, because with fair housing and just treating, and the service industry that we're in, like, we want to, we want to do a good job. Good service roles. That's just how it is.
I'd love to know your why because we know you're skilled. You're obviously skilled. Your team is skilled. What gets you through the hard times? Because of course you're running a business. Every business has hard moments, and every deal has a hard moment. And what is the why? What keeps you going?
Well, there's a few things. Um, obviously, um, obviously, we all like to make a lot of money. We could start there. I don't come from much. I don't come from nothing. But I'm not a blue-blooded Park Avenue kid. I'm a Queens kid, and I want to ultimately have the best to provide for my family. And um, on top of all of that, it's I have experienced very bad service, and we all do. And I've experienced very bad. Um, I've experienced bad realtors when I
Mm,
got my apartment. I don't want to. I'm not putting out names or anything. I'm not that type of guy. But I've seen it, and I've worked with bad realtors on when I partnered on certain deals, and that it it just I would never let anything like that come out of my name. So when I'm working with, I on top of me really loving real estate design and just architecture in general, like I really really love making my clients happy,
yeah.
and I that's where it all stems from. I don't see longevity in this business if you're only looking at, oh, let's just get the deal done, call it a day, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like no, like stick with the client and make your client happy, and you will have a great turnout. You will have return business. That's how I see it. So, and oftentimes like if I have to, um, I don't let commission get in the way. It's just I care about how my client feels after the deal. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that makes all the sense in the world, and I've heard that answer time and time again over the years as I've had this show, and it's almost a universal response. It's like
that's
I
good.
always wait for a different answer, and I rarely get it because it is I just want to do the right thing for the right reason for
Yeah,
my
like
client.
we could do a million different things for money. There's so many, you know what I mean? Like there are so many, gray market things. I could be behind a desk. I could be doing this. I love doing this. I love that it's a win-win on top of everything. A deal, a true deal, and you learn this as the deals grow. It's a win-win. Both parties are extremely happy. That's the whole point of it. So everyone walks away like yes, thank you. That's why.
Yeah.
That's what you strive for as a realtor, I feel like.
Yeah, and the people who don't play nice in the sandbox are, it's tough. It's tough, and not everybody does. And the people, but most of the top producers I talk to, they seem to be really cooperative, really nice, genuinely good people who, of course, make deals much easier. And also it helps get deals closed faster when the person on the other end is like, oh, that guy that or that will that person is a fantastic, agent. And and I also think too, as we start to see the constriction of the market where the top agents are going to thrive and the you know agents who aren't really in the business that much are probably going to self-select out. I think we're going to see a higher level of service just continue on, and I think realtors will just going to they're just going to do great who are in this who have this experience. And you've lived in this community. I imagine it's a very compelling story to tell the residents of the area that you live in that this is my domain. I live here, I work here, I know this area. This is what I do. And of course you work other areas too. But I imagine there's a sense of pride you must have and this is where I live, this is where I work. And I imagine that really carries you through.
I mean, being born and raised in New York is like to me like, it's in the heart, it's in the blood. And it's something that you can't take away from me. So, whether you're a transplant, where you coming from another city, another state, another country, whatever, like you're gonna know that I know what's good around here, and that's the whole point. All you got to do is tell me, give me a little bit of your background, and I'll let you know what works for you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's perfectly said. And we should also mention, too, that of course, New York is a market that people transplant in and out of. Of course, places like Florida, places all over the country. And my sister moved there from Kansas City right out of after college. She went to Kansas City and then she says, I got to make it in New York. And so many people have that same dream, and finance and all sorts of different industries, of course. And so there are a lot of our listeners who are going to have clients who have, you know, those dreams and aspirations, and who do move in and out of that area. And so if there was somebody who's really jiving with what you're saying and wants to connect with you and maybe, throw a referral your way and make a connection so you guys could maybe pass referrals back and forth, because of course
I do.
people leave New York as well. What's the best way that they should reach out to you?
You could reach out, you could text me personally, I will always respond. You could email me, I will always respond. That's it's part of the service. You're always going to get a response from me, no matter who you are, no matter what it is. And even if it's the lowest level of a deal, you will get a response from me. Even if it's something I don't deal with, you will get a response from me on where it could be navigated. And I do give great referral fees, and I'm a very honorable person at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. We'll have a link to Ethan's contact information in our show notes, and he's a Compass agent. He's easy to find, Ethan Davidoff. And Ethan, one last question for you. Where do you see your team going in like the next year? What do you think's ahead for you guys?
Oh, that's a good question. I wasn't prepared for this one. I wasn't prepared for most of them. But I like this question. I do have a vision, um, and I see us really just powering through. Obviously, the portfolios that we have, that's great. I see us building on that very well. Maybe getting another rental portfolio or two, but really, really becoming a powerhouse in the resale market, uh, downtown Williamsburg, Upper East Side. That's
I
that's
love it.
where we're really pushing, and a sprinkle of Long Island City since I'm a Queens guy. But we are pushing hard on the resale market. Um, the goal the goal is in the next 3 to 5 years to get us to a $100 million producing team. Uh, in annual sales, and
That is
we're
that is a
on the road.
wonderful. That is an amazing goal and a super high watermark for anybody. And I have friends who have done that, and I've interviewed a lot of people on this show that do that, and it is absolutely doable. And you are on your way. I mean, you're already at 100 transactions in your fifth year. That is pretty incredible. So Ethan Davidoff is our guest. He has the energy. It's palpable. He cares about this industry, he cares about his clients, and he's just a good guy who is trying to provide value. And that is really the mark of pretty much all the guests we've ever had. So Ethan is no different. We are excited to talk to Ethan and have talked to him today. So on behalf of our audience, Ethan, thank you for spending an hour with us. You have a family, you are busy, you have a team, you spent time with us, and we thank you for that. On behalf of Ethan and myself, thank you to the audience for making it to the end of the episode. If you found value in this, and I know you did, please tell a friend. Let another agent know about this episode. Send them a link, because Ethan had a lot of great things to say and a lot of great strategies that might help them in their business. And that helps us to get in front of more ears or eyes. So thank you for that. Also, check out our sponsors. They're the reason we can keep doing the show. We appreciate them. We love our sponsors. And as always, we are going to keep making episodes. We're getting to the end of 2025. We are going to just keep rolling this into 2026. More episodes, more what you want. Tell us what you want. If there's a top producer in your market that you're like, I want to know how that person does that, reach out to me. I can get them on the show, or our producers will get them on the show, and we'll have more great guests like Ethan. Ethan, you are amazing, and we will see everybody on the next episode. Thanks, Ethan.
Thanks, DJ.